Welcome to sunny South Florida.
Huh? Sunday.
Sunny South Florida. This doesn't happen very often to us. We're very addicted to the sun here, right? I believe that you've met your tour guide Ignacio. He's going to be taking very good care of all of you today. Juan will be your driver. Excellent tour guide. You're going to have a fantastic day. We're going to visit some very exciting destinations. We're going to start out this morning in South Beach, where Ignacio will be giving you a guided tour of the Art Deco South Beach area, beautiful district that you'll be traveling into. And after South Beach, we'll head to Little Havana. Now, Little Havana is one of my favorite destinations, very unique part of Miami. Ignacio will be providing you a short walking tour through Main Street, where you'll visit some establishments. One of the oldest and most famous cigar factories, where you'll see them actually rolling the Cuban cigars. After that, we'll do some tastings of some homemade Cuban ice cream, Cuban coffee. You'll have time to get something to eat. The Cuban food is delicious. There is Cuban sandwiches, churros, and of course the famous mojitos. Now, after Little Havana, we'll head to Wynwood Art District, which is an amazing area. It's an 800,000 square foot art installation of street art. It's absolutely stunning. We'll drive through there, where you can look at the different pieces of art. They constantly change because artists come from all over the world to paint in that district. After that, we'll do a short stop where you'll be able to take some photos before we head to the airport. Now, this afternoon, this bus will be going to both airports. First to, excuse me for one moment.
States, Miami Beach is in an island. They're very different cities. You see, Miami is a city that at least they try to be normal. In Miami Beach, they're all tourists. They don't care about being normal. You know, they're in vacation. Nothing normal about that city. Okay, it's a city where most of the people, as I say, 90% are in vacation. So very much, you know, it's more like La La Land over there. Okay, so both cities, they're very young. Miami is about 120 years old. Miami Beach is about 100 years old. So for a city that's extremely young, because you will find out, maybe even today, that before they invented air condition, this was not exactly a nice place to live. You see? It's hot all year round. Our winters, the temperatures are delightful. They are very good. This winter particularly, we had on average 76 degrees. Beautiful sunny days. It's the dry season. That means it seldom rains. True. But then it comes the summer, more or less from April to November, and it's the rainy season. So it is extremely hot and extremely humid. Very unpleasant. I think I see 49, 50, 51, and 52. So I have a theory. I always say that baby boom generation was probably made in Miami Beach. Think about it. Now, suddenly, also, Pan American World Airlines, our local airline that had trained a lot of young men as pilots, were given the opportunity to relocate to Miami Airport and use real airplanes. Well, they decided to create a new division. They call it Pan Am. And they actually started hiring all those returning pilots. Little we know, 1940s, 50s, everybody in the world wanted to experience flying by airplanes. Suddenly, Pan Am started growing and growing and growing. By the mid-1950s, Pan Am was one of the biggest airlines, and it was the Miami airline. started bringing tourists by the thousands, because all the connecting flights were in Miami. So people wanted to experience Miami Beach. In 1953, inaugurated in Miami Beach an hotel called the Fontainebleau. Beautiful hotel, dazzling architecture, very revolutionary in those days. And it had a beautiful cabaret called the Tropicana. They brought Frank Sinatra to perform. Basically, in those days, that was the biggest entertainer in the world. So hotels started competing. Who brings the biggest entertainer? And I tell you, throughout the 1950s, we see people like, Judy Garland, Ella Fitzgerald. I mean, everybody, including Elvis Presley, Liberace, they all performed here in Miami Beach. It became a competition of the hotels who brings the biggest entertainer. And the more Hollywood crowd we had here, the more people wanted to come here. Miami Beach became #1 tourist destination in North America. Pan Am was bringing people by the thousands. And we can say that in the 1950s is the golden era for the city of Miami Beach. It blossomed into this beautiful city, beautiful tourist destination. In the 1930s, they had built close to 2,000 buildings in the southern tip of Miami Beach. But in the 50s, they continued building to the north, and all the 100 city blocks of oceanfront were finally built during the 1950s. One hotel next to another, one dazzling place next to another. Bay, and is the only one that is commercial. Okay, so they needed to bring the warships. The warships had a big problem. Biscayne Bay is very shallow, so they decided to carve a canal through the bay. That canal that your ships came in and out was actually done during the time of the Second World War to provide access for the warships to arrive to the port of Miami. Now, in those days, they didn't worry too much about the aesthetics. They actually started pulling sand and dirt from the bottom of the bay. They push it to the side, they push it to the side. We ended up with 10 ugly mounds next to the canal. Those 10 ugly mounds eventually were flattened into the island that you arrived this morning. Okay, so it's a consequence of the war. That only happened in 1962, so way after the war, that they built that island. And that island was actually built with the intentions to be a commercial port. The cruise ship idea came after. The idea was to have a place where those ships that came from Taiwan and China with containers full of merchandise, they could have a place that they can land. They come through the Panama Canal, they can land in Florida, drop off those containers, put those containers into the railroads. The railroads will distribute those containers around the country.